Each evening at this time, Monday through Friday, Rosemary interviews local personalities and others who bring items of interest to this community. Time for Talk is a community betterment service designed to cooperate with our local community betterment program. Tonight, Rosemary takes us by means of portable camera out of our studios and maybe into your neighborhood. And now, it's time for Talk.
We've been running around doing programs for over 35 years. And the first 10 or 15 were all interview types. We did them in the studio. And one of those days in the studio, we featured the lady who is on today, Carol DeGraw. She had a new role with the Visiting Nurse Association, that's VNA to us today. She was the answer nurse. And she came out to KBOA and answered health questions and did that for years. Those of you who have known Carol through the years will know that 3 or 4 years ago she suffered a very debilitating stroke, which would have laid most of us low, but not Carol. No pity parties for her, though she does have to have more help. Well, here we are back at KBOA, some 15 or 20 years later, and here is Carol, the answer nurse, still going strong and still answering questions. And we thought you'd like to see things as they are today.
Visiting Nurse Association, you'll feel better just knowing we're there.
It's time for Carol DeGraw, the VNA answer nurse. Carol, we have this question. I'm 56 years old. I have low energy. What are the signs of low blood pressure?
Low blood pressure is a very interesting condition. Some of the signs...
Oh, and here she is. Carol, this is an old story to you right now.
Everything about me lately, they put old in front of it. Steve reminded me that I am the oldest running commercial out here. We've been doing these spots for 27 years, the best we can figure.
27? I just got through introducing this saying 10 or 15.
You're wrong, Rosemary.
First time.
And we started this with Steve Mays. And I know many of the people remember Steve Mays. Then we come up to Jeff Wheeler. Everybody knows Jeff. We've done it with Monty. He works here still. Monty is still here. And then Steve Bryan, and now I have Steve Tyler, who makes me sound so good with the fancy equipment that we haven't always had.
Okay, so have you always been able to just sit here and talk into a microphone and somebody has made you sound good?
Well, he makes me sound better because he has better electronics now.
Oh, okay. And this is Steve Tyler?
Hello. She sounds a lot better than what she's letting on. She really does. She does a great job with this, and this is one of the probably the oldest commercials that that has been running on this station for how many?
We think 27 years.
27 years at least.
So
yeah.
She's been an answer nurse for 27 years.
Yeah, she is the answer nurse.
The answer nurse.
Yeah.
Now, what about? I told them that about your stroke and that it was very debilitating. What did you do in those years? Did you have another answer nurse?
I think we did for just a brief period of time, didn't we? Someone that filled in for you, and I'm sorry, her name escapes me.
Helen Sanders.
Helen Sanders.
Uh-huh.
And for I think that went for about a month.
Maybe a couple. And he's been very patient because I'm so slow. But Steve just sits here and puts up with me, and by the time it comes to you, it sounds really good. But he puts a lot of effort into it.
Steve, could you make me look that good?
Oh, you already look.
Oh, well, he says all the right things.
You're
all
great.
Right.
I want your first one. We don't want to start with hospice. What's our first one?
Okay, you want to start with the. This is on the signs of low blood
Okay,
pressure.
that'd be fine. Yeah,
All of them are 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You do the question, and she always gives the answer in 60 seconds.
And then
hey,
we
you're
have
pretty
it
good. You're pretty good.
We have to cut some out.
Her part lasts about of the commercial when I do an intro with her, it lasts about 10 seconds, and then we. She has about 30 to 40 seconds of material, and then we close it out with the singing of the jingle. And so,
Visiting Nurse Association, you know that, have you heard that?
Yeah, but it had a tune when I heard it, not when you sing it. Okay.
I will never record, I promise you.
and then that's what we do. Like later, then we'll put all these together with the jingle, mix everything together, and
We want to hear that.
And you get
Yes.
the finished
Yes,
product. So
yes.
that's well. Let's do one then.
Okay.
Let's do one on the low blood pressure.
Okay.
And you'll hear all, well, she says, like, I make her sound good. She doesn't mention that I have my flubs in here just as well as she does.
But he can erase them, so we're covered.
You're covered for everybody's flow.
Yes.
Yes,
All
yes,
right,
yes.
that's good.
That's
Russ
it.
is supposed to make me look
See.
good, but sometimes he leaves in my
See,
flow.
see, the secret is out now, so,
Let's get a level on you, Carol. And,
Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
It's time for Carol DeGraw, the VNA Answer Nurse. Question for Carol. Carol, I'm 56 years old, and I don't have as much energy as I used to. What are the signs of low blood pressure?
Low blood pressure is a very interesting condition, and some of the signs and symptoms are very typical. Some of the signs of low blood, he'll cut all this out, I promise. Some of the signs of low blood pressure include clamminess and sweating, paleness, poor balance. Sometimes impaired memory and mental ability are affected also by a drop in blood pressure. We're going back to impaired memory. Impaired memory or mental ability also can become a problem when the blood pressure is too low. The top number should at least be 90 and the bottom reading should be 60. Any lower than that, the doctor will begin to suspect low blood pressure problems. And this will be a very important diagnostic indicator for him. Work with him to control this problem so that your general well-being, you will need to work with your doctor to determine if low blood pressure is causing your general. You will need to consult your doctor and work with him to adjust your blood pressure so that you begin to feel better. And I don't like that either, Steve.
Well, I tell you what, let's, you want to do it from the top again? Just start.
It's time for Carol DeGraw, the VNA Answer Nurse. Carol, we have this question. I'm 56 years old. I have low energy. What are the signs of low blood pressure?
Low blood pressure is a very interesting condition. Typically, we think of a regular normal blood pressure. Typically, this diagnosis is confirmed by having your doctor check your blood pressure, lying, sitting, and standing to see if there are variations and to see what your blood pressure runs consistently. This will be more than one reading to confirm. Honey, we're not doing that one. Let's find an easy one. I can't make that one work with.
It's time for Carol DeGraw, the VNA Answer Nurse. Carol, we have this question. I'm 56 years old. I have low energy. What are the signs of low blood pressure?
Low blood pressure is an interesting condition, and some of the signs and symptoms are very typical. Low blood pressure is a very interesting condition. Some of the signs balance. Also, impaired memory or mental ability can come into play if your blood pressure is too low. Typically, we think honey, we're not doing that. Honey, we're not doing that.
Okay. Okay, guys, we got it.
Are we not doing that one? Okay, all right.
You would guess.
We're not doing that one, okay.
You have to edit.
We have some fun with this. I mean, it's
Not doing that one. Let's find out doing that one. Let's find it.
okay. So what we're going to do is, let's see, take this out. And we're just going to edit real quick.
Low blood pressure is a very interesting condition. Some of the signs and symptoms are very typical, and they include clamminess or sweating, or mental ability can come into play if your blood pressure is too low. Typically, we think of a regular can come into play if your blood pressure is too low. Typically, this diagnosis is confirmed by having your doctor check your blood pressure, lying, sitting, and standing to see if there are variations and to see what your blood pressure and to
We'll make another quick edit here.
see if there are variations and to see what your blood pressure and to see what.
Okay. We'll make another edit real quick right here.
to see if there are variations and to see what your blood pressure
Quick. And this should time out just about right with our edits and everything.
Okay. To see if there are variations and to see what your blood pressure
So this gives us, let me double check, listen through this again. This gives us about 42 seconds.
It's time for Carol DeGraw, the VNA answer nurse. Carol, we have this question. I'm 56 years old. I have low energy. What are the signs of low blood pressure?
Low blood pressure is a very interesting condition. Some of the signs and symptoms are very typical, and they include clamminess or sweating, paleness, and poor balance. Also, impaired memory or mental ability can come into play if your blood pressure is too low. Typically, this diagnosis is confirmed by having your doctor check your blood pressure, lying, sitting, and standing, and to see what your blood pressure runs consistently. This will be more than one reading to confirm.
And that sounds pretty good. I mean, what, the message you're trying to get across in your answer. Okay. So we've got let me run over here and also in the computer and find the jingle. And
now, while he's looking for the jingle to finish this spot, let me ask you, do you get calls from people with questions like he had?
Yes, really I do. Not all of them by any means, but I get calls frequently. My most recent call was a lady called the other night and said, Carol, I've overtaken my medicine. I said, well, what did you take? She said, well, I took 2 ibuprofen, and I'm sure I turned around and took 2 more. Do I need to go to the emergency room?
Did she tell you what the concentration was then, how many milligrams?
Well, I asked her, and fortunately it was only 200 milligrams each. And, you know, for arthritis, they often prescribe 800 milligrams. But if you don't know that, that's kind of scary to think I'd double dose myself. So I was able to reassure her on the phone that she was going to be fine.
Did she ask you if she should go get her stomach?
Oh, yeah, she thought, her concern was, do I need to go have my stomach pumped at the ER? And she did not. I mean, I assure you that I knew that that was the right answer. And I was pleased that she called me because that saved her a lot of trouble to go to the ER and go through all that. Just even going out there, even if they said, well, we don't have to pump it, that's still a lot of procedure to go through.
Yes, yes.
So I am thrilled when I get an opportunity to answer a question for somebody that explains something or helps them with something.
That's great. And hey, he does make you sound pretty good. Russ is supposed to take out all the bobbles that I do, and sometimes just to embarrass me, he'll leave in some bad thing I've done.
Well, that's the difference of being Meg, the one you're working with, and Steve and I are.
It has all kinds of problems.
what we're doing right now is that ran over just a little bit. So what we're going to do, we're just going to go and we're just going to tighten up some things here.
You're going to tighten up some things. Now, how do you tighten up some things?
Well, it's just my own slang. For instance, we have some pauses, it ran just a little bit long because he heard her voice over the singing of the jingle. So we're just timing it in to where it will fit, whether it's for radio or whether it's for video. Time is everything. So what we're shooting for is this entire commercial to be 60 seconds in length with you know, the jingle singing out. And so, you know, we want it to sound like we do for all of our commercials. We want to, you know, like for instance, we can take some things out that take up time, like for instance, you know, just that breath. Well, I will say one thing about Carol when she was out sick, and she was not on the air. We had a number of calls wondering, where's Carol? And then when they found out she was sick, had a number of people, you know, asking about her and everything. So I remember when you came back in to do another set of commercials, everybody was glad to hear you back on the air. So it was, she is the answer nurse. There's no doubt about it.
And I'm amazed that he needs about 40 seconds out, and he's taking out breaths and pauses and anything else. So, all right, that's great. You've been talking with Carol DeGraw. She's the answer nurse. You've seen a program from start to finish. And Carol, thank you for letting us watch.
Well, thank y'all for coming out. This is fun.
Just finishing up, and there it is, 59 seconds is really what we're shooting for. And this is your finished product.
Visiting Nurse Association, you feel better just knowing we're there.
It's time for Carol DeGraw, the VNA Answer Nurse. Carol, we have this question. I'm 56 years old. I have low energy. What are the signs of low blood pressure?
Low blood pressure is a very interesting condition. Some of the signs and symptoms are very typical, and they include clamminess or sweating, paleness, and poor balance. Also, impaired memory or mental ability can come into play if your blood pressure is too low. Typically, this diagnosis is confirmed by having your doctor check your blood pressure, lying, sitting, and standing, and to see what your blood pressure runs consistently. This will be more than one reading to confirm.
Visiting Nurse Association.